Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League Racing TV here for the qualifying night for the CTC Console Championship. Yes, we are here for season number 5, looking to get underway with the guys representing the console tier here tonight. Of course, only 10 teams will make it to the season proper, but we have 15 teams going to be competing here tonight. And of course, we got several lobbies to go through. So we're going to go first and foremost with lobby number 1. We are still waiting on someone, I believe. But I'll run you through the teams competing here in lobby number 1 for you guys right now. So we have TF10, who of course are going to be represented by Ortiz, going to be driving for the TF10 team. All Elite Racing team going to be represented by Reese B07. Bravo Racing Club going to be represented by ABE Bonnie. Then, of course, for Evolution Racing Team, they're going to be represented by KJ 8944. Future Racing Team going to be represented by QVXNTVM. I believe he's trying to spell something there. He is trying to spell something, but I can't quite figure it out. So we're just going to call him QV. Hopefully, someone will let me know in the chat while he is trying to spell out using different words. But XPG Esports going to be represented by Flame here tonight. XPG Flame. Onibi Esports going to be represented by Sabuka. They're going to be driving it as well tonight, along with ET8 Esports, who are going to be represented by ET8 Silo. Of course, those are the 8 teams going to be represented in lobby number 1, and of course lobby number 3 as well, but there will be a different lineup for lobby number 3. Of course, we are waiting on one driver and just going through the list on who we are waiting for. So we have, I believe we are missing, yes, we are missing the FRT driver, the Future Racing Team driver in QV. So hopefully he's able to get in as soon as possible so we can get this qualifying night underway. And guys, the track in question, of which we will be having a look at here tonight, is of course the Zandvoort circuit. It is the Dutch circuit, and let's have a look at the track in question. 4.2 kilometers, 2.6 miles, 14 corners, and guys, we're going in the reverse. That is right, we will be going through the reverse circuit here tonight, and that's going to add a whole new dynamic. It's also going to confuse me as well. I'm so used to Tarzan being turn number 1, and now turn 14 is turn number 1, so I may end up miscounting on terms of the corners and everything. But yes, we will be seeing how these guys are going to get on with that. Of course, as the drivers, FRT driver is now in, and the drivers are getting ready to go into the lobby. So we will transfer over to the track in just a moment's time, and we will run you through what we are expecting here tonight. Of course, in terms of lap times, it's going to be very interesting. Of course, the reverse layout adds a different dynamic to the circuit as we are now here in qualifying. It does add a different dynamic to the proceedings in terms of not only lap time, but just how you approach a lap around you. Of course, turn number 1, you know, hard on the brakes and after the hairpin at Tarzan, you can get a little bit of a late apex. But of course, that bank corner now being turn number 1, and really, it all comes down to how you're going to approach the braking for turn number 2 as it is now. Meanwhile, there is a Mercedes with no front wing. Now that is an aerodynamic masterclass if I've ever seen one right there for Ortiz, with no front wing to his name. That appears to be just a visual glitch on our end. He definitely is driving like he has a front wing, so we will assume that he does have the front wing. But yeah, that is a very interesting one to say the least. Of course, the first driver out there on our lap is of course a KJ, so we're going to go on board with him as he comes through towards Tarzan now to get his lap underway here on Zandvoort reverse as he takes a wide line, gonna try to set himself up nicely on the throttle. DRS will be wide open on the run down into what is now turn number 1, the bank corner, throwing the car in, keeping it in 8th gear, now braking down hard into turn number 2. Nicely done there from KJ. Now into turn number 3, the hairpin, big lock up at the rear, and you can see him struggling to keep a hold of the car there as we go in towards turn number 4. DRS wide open once again as we head down in towards turn number 5. Third gear there, maybe just getting a little bit of a double bite. Oh, he touched the grass there. KJ nips the grass on the inside, under braking, and that is his lap over and done with. As we're going to go on board now with Ortiz, who is of course the next man up on this lap. As we come through the middle sector split, it's a 44.5 for the TF10 driver. As we come down now into the banked hairpin at what is now, I believe, turn number 11 as we come through 12, 13, and now through Tarzan, the final corner, turn number 14. On the exit now is Ortiz to the line. He'll come. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 1 minute 8.5. A fantastic lap there from Ortiz. As Reese there pops himself up into P2 for the time being. Of course, all these guys going to be looking to set the best times possible to make sure that their teams have the best chance of qualifying for the console championship here tonight. As QV goes on provisional pole with a 1 minute 8.4. A good lap from him as we got Bonnie, the last man, to set a lap time out there. Bonnie now coming into the bank right hander now through 12 and 13 now in towards turn number 14. Tarzan, and now out of Tarzan, foot to the floor. What's it going to be for Bonnie? Is it going to be up there? It's a 108.6, which is good enough to get him P4 for the time being. Of course, we are waiting for improved lap times to come through. I believe Sabuka and of course KJ definitely had an issue on his lap, as it looks like he may be going again. 14 seconds up on his lap time, running out of VRS though, so we're going to see as he comes to the line. KJ, is this going to be improved? It will be improved, but by how much? Up to P3 for KJ. As we got Sabuka now coming through as well, and this will be an improved lap time from the man in the Red Bull, and it's up to P7, 1 minute 9 flat. And I think there definitely needs to be improvements from Sabuka and Flame if they hope to qualify. Realistically, they're going to be looking, seeing the lap times that we've seen so far, they got to be looking to get in and amongst the 1 minute 8.6s immediately if you want to give yourself a good chance. Unless, of course, they have their quicker drivers in the next lobby, and some of the slower drivers might be in the next lobby as well for some other teams, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we do have lobby 2 as well, where we'll get to see a little bit more of how everything lines up and shakes up, and we'll be able to see the true order going into what should be an exciting season, a very exciting season. I believe Ortiz is the first man that is out on a second run. Of course, 12 minutes to go in the qualifying session, and we will be seeing how he'll get on through there. Of course, he's got a good lap on the board to work with right now. A 1 minute 8.5, nothing to snuff at, and he'll know that he can find more time in the session as it goes on. So we'll stay on board with Ortiz for what will be the full lap here around the Zandvoort reversed circuit as we head down in towards the banking for turn number 1. Now breaking down turn number 2, throwing the car in 5th gear onto the grass on the exit as we break down now into turn number 3 and now through turn number 4. DRS going to be wide open as we head down in towards turn number 5, and it's a 10th up for Ortiz here. Turn number 5, throwing the car in 3rd gear, getting a late apex there, using all the track on the exit as well as we come through turn number 6 in towards turn number 7 as we climb up the hill now through turn number 8. 6th gear, the gear of choice there for Ortiz as we go through 9 and of course 10 in towards turn number 11. 3rd gear, the gear of choice for Ortiz again now through 12. Little kink of 13 and now in towards Tarzan. The final corner. Ortiz, is it going to be an improved lap time? Is it going to be topping the lap time? So TF10 as he comes to the line. Yes, he does by a 10.5. It's a 1 minute 8.3 for TF10 Ortiz. What a lap there from the TF10 driver, and he gets himself up the order as Silo improvement there as well, gets himself up in the P5 I believe. Saw a 10.5 improvement there from Silo, so yeah, definitely looks like the ET8 man has improved on his lap time. Reese, I believe, also has improved on his lap time as we got QV coming to start up his lap. He's going to be looking to respond now, seeing Ortiz improve on his first one. We'll come back on board with him later in this lap as we go on board with Bonnie, who is in the final sector and is up by over a 10th now, coming towards Tarzan, getting onto the grass, and that's a validation there for Bonnie, but he will continue the lap and he will see what he could have done. But heartbreak there for Bonnie, and it didn't look like an improvement in terms of that time. I think that little touch on the grass really did cost him. But QV down in sector 1 by nearly 0.2 of a second. Not what he would want you as we climb up the hill now through turn number 8. Yeah, he's over 2. He's 2 times down. I think QV will be diving into the pits at the end of this lap and looking to get himself psyched up to go again. As it looks like Sabuka has decided to not go flat out on this lap, as we got Bonnie into the pits at the end of this lap for sure. Or is Sabuka setting himself up to go again? He is setting himself up to go again. So we'll stay on board with Sabuka and see if Sabuka can get himself into the 1 minute 8. Right now he's on a 9.0. Sabuka for Onibi esports. Let's see if he can get himself up there. Of course, clipping the grass on the exit of turn number 2 as we come through turn number 3, now through turn number 4. Marginally up in sector 1. Needs to find more time though in sector 2 as we come through turn number 5 now. Nicely down through 5, now through turn number 6. Trying to use all the track possible as we come through 7. Up the hill now towards turn number 8 as we fly up the hill. Middle sector split. A 10.5 up for Sabuka. This is looking good for the Onibi esports driver. He's looking to get himself into the 8s, but he's definitely going to need more in this final sector if he wants to try and match the guys up ahead. Final corner, Tarzan now. 3rd gear on the exit, throttle, ERS deployed, DRS activated. To the line will come Sabuka, and it is a 10.5 improvement. It's a 1 minute 8.8, 2 times off the back of Bonnie, but a big improvement if you are Sabuka there. Getting yourself into the 1 minute 8 is definitely what you want to be doing at the bare minimum. For Lame though, pressure is on as we got just under 7 minutes to go in the qualifying session. Flame going to be looking to try to break into the 1 minute 8 and make sure XPG is not on the back foot coming into lobby number 3. Flame now a little bit of rear locking going into turn number 5. Not ideal there. Definitely would have cost him just a little bit of momentum and some lap time, that is for sure, as we climb up there. Oh, big clip on the inside curb, and that's lost even more time there for Flame. And I'm assuming that this is going to be down. Yes, it is, by 0.6 of a second. And yeah, Flame is definitely not happy with that. And yeah, absolute heartbreak for Flame there. Silo improvement in the middle sector. To the line will come the ET8 man. Up into P2, 2/10 improvement for him. As we got QV 2/10 up in the middle sector split. Coming into the banked right-hander in the final sector. As we come through now towards Tarzan. Keeps it valid, which is fantastic. Nice tight line there from QV. To the line he'll come. Is it going to be provisional pull? Yes, it is. And 1 minute 8.2 as we got Ortiz just coming into the middle sector split in just a moment's time. He's marginally down in sector 1, but can Ortiz get anything more out of sector 2? He does improve on his sector 2. He's closed that gap down even more, so now it's all about sector 3. Can he find enough time in the final sector to get himself ahead of QV here? TF10 Ortiz now to the line. Is it going to be provisional? No, he does lose a little bit of time in the final sector. KJ right there in P4, Reese in P5, Bonnie in P6. Of course, we got Sabuka out there on our lap right now. Flame improving, comes to the line. It's a 1 minute 9 flat. XPG, they're going to need a big final lap from Flame. And I think they're going to need, what's called the second driver to also have a big lap in himself. Obviously, we don't know yet. Of course, Lobby 2, I mean, 1 minute 9 could be enough. But Lobby 2, just looking at some of the teams involved, it's going to be a tall order. I think you definitely need to be in the 1 minute 8 to even have a chance. And from the looks of it, you need to be below 1 minute 8.5s at the moment as it currently stands, as Sabuka is going to be trying to get himself into that realm. Of course, needs 3 attempts minimum to catch up to Bonnie, who is the next car up ahead. Flame though needs a big lap here, and we're going to see if Flame is going to be able to do it. I think Flame might come into the pits, so yeah, Flame's into the pits. Sabuka going for a lap once again. But aboard in the lap almost immediately is Sabuka for Only Esports, and that is not... Sorry, Only B Esports, I do apologise, guys. Only B Esports, yeah, just aborting on that lap, not happy with how it started. And honestly, on a circuit like this, where every corner really does matter, I can understand why he would bail out immediately if he did not think that the sector 1 time was going to be as good as he would have hoped. But he does have time to go again. He looks like he's got the fuel in the car to go again as well, so that is good. Sabuka is going to get himself underway. Once again, we got a few cars on out laps as well. Silo up ahead has just started his flying lap, so I've got on board with the ET8 man. And we'll see if there's going to be an improvement from ET8 here. Half a 10th improvement in sector 1 for Silo. Good going from the ET8 man so far. Let's have a look and see what Sabuka's doing in sector 1. Unfortunately, we just missed that, so we'll go back on board with Silo for the middle sector split. As we climb up the hill through the fast left-hander, middle sector split, nearly a 10th up. What about Sabuka? Sabuka, a 10th, nearly 2 temps down in sector 1. Needs to find the time in sector 2. And he's down again in sector 2. Back on board with Silo. Coming through in towards Tarzan now. Silo to the line. It looks like it's going to be an improvement. Is it going to be enough? And he goes, topping the times at 1 minute 8.2, finding good amount of time in the final sector. KJ up marginally in sector 1, but it looks like he's not going full out now. So I think he's backed off on his lap. QV also kind of backing off on his lap. So we got Ortiz on our out lap, we got Reese on our out lap. Bonnie just starting his lap here, so let's see what Bonnie can do. Bonnie marginally up in sector 1 as we come through turn number 6 now. In towards turn number 7 as we climb up the hill towards turn number 8. Flying is Bonnie, and Bonnie's actually down. Bonnie's down by 800ths of a second. But the time can be found in the final sector. Silo is done for the session. Ortiz not going to be able to improve on his lap time, as the checker flag has fallen here in Zandvoort for lobby 1. Here comes Bonnie to the line. It's going to be an improvement for Bonnie. No improvement there. What about Reese? Reese is down on his time. Flame is down on his time. Reese is not going to improve. KJ marginally up as he comes towards Tarzan for the final time here in qualifying for lobby 1. KJ, is it going to be an improved lap time for him? Yes, it is. What about QV? QV 2 times down in the middle sector. I don't think there's going to be an improvement from QV. I think it will be Silo that tops the times with a 1 minute 8.2. But QV will be very happy to also be in the 8.2s as well, but he won't be happy that he's been beaten to the top step by Silo. Well, there we go, guys. We'll run you through the order. It is, of course, Silo who tops the times with 1 minute 8.2 for ET8. QV in second place, also on an 8.2. TF10 Ortiz in third on an 8.3. 8.4 for KJ. Reese on a 8.4 as well. 8.5 for Bonnie. Then, of course, we got Sabuga in seventh on an 8.8. And XPG Flame there on a 9.0. And that is going to be a very, very difficult tall order, I'm going to say, for XPG, as we're going to be seeing what we can do in terms of the qualifying for them, in terms of lobby number 3, and of course we're going to see what lobby number 2 is going to do as well, as we will be transferring over to that lobby in just a moment's time. Of course, before we go to the intermission screen while we transfer lobbies, guys, just quickly want to say a massive shout out to our sponsors, of course, as we go through. There we go. Pivot Media, of course, a marketing agency offering graphic and video designers to elevate your brand and businesses. Check out their X in the stream description. And of course, to our other sponsors at Virtual Setup Engineer, where of course it is the brand new setup shop for all your setup needs. They offer setups for all tracks plus a custom chat box, so you can customize your setups to your driving style. Guys, we will be back as we head into the second lobby. We'll be back in just a moment's time, guys, as we transfer over. So bear with us. We will be there in just a moment's time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are here for what is now the second lobby of the evening. And of course, they are already out there in qualifying, so we'll transfer you over to the track itself as we run through the teams and the drivers representing those teams here in lobby 2, and of course the teams that will be in lobby number 4 a little bit later on. So in lobby 2 we have Alien Motorsport, of course represented by the man we're on board with right now, AMS Grego. Legacy Racing represented by Leora L3OER. I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce that, but we will try multiple times. Deluxe Esports team represented by DLX Alberto. And then of course we got Ground Effect Spec Racing represented by Nat MF1. Shazoo Cedars Igniters represented by SCI Oscar. And then of course we got Azuri Esport represented by Ethan B. And then of course Venturi Esports represented by Lars VD Linden. As we have 7 drivers here in lobby number 2, and of course we saw the lap times in lobby number 1. Let's see if the likes of Grego, Oscar, Lars, Alberto, Nat are going to be able to top those times. Of course, we saw the best lap time come through of a 1 minute 8.2, and of course the bottom lap time was a 1 minute 9 flat. So we're going to see who is going to be keeping up with that. And Lars immediately puts a 1 minute 5 in. So again, more pressure going on those at the back of the last session, as Nat F1 goes on a 1 minute 9, a 1 minute 8.7 for Grego there, pops himself up into P3. But early on, pressure is mounting for several of the teams in the previous lobby, XPG being the main ones. And of course, I believe the other team that was under pressure was, of course, I believe it was Bravo. No, it wasn't Bravo. It was. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it, guys. But yeah, absolutely, pressure is on XPG. That is 100% sure right now, as DLX and Ethan, of course, right now in the low 1 minute 9s, but they got plenty of time to improve, as do a lot of the drivers out there on track. And we are gonna hope and see what can happen, of course, in lobby number 2, and then of course to see how everything shapes up in lobby 3 and 4. Right now, Shazoo Cedars Igniters are setting the pace here in lobby 2 with 1 minute 8.4. They definitely would have been looking at the times in the last session, and they would see that they're only 2 tenths off, which is good going from them on their opening lap here. I believe Alberto might be coming into the pits for Deluxe Esports now, and yes, he is. He's into the pit lane. Everyone with their first laps over and done with. Definitely looks like a mid 1 minute 8 is going to be needed to put yourself in a good window for the 3rd and 4th lobbies. And we're actually going to go on board with Lars on his flying lap. Of course, 1 minute 8.5 for him on his first flying lap here at the reversed Zandvoort circuit. 12.5 minutes to go in the session. Lap times are going to be coming in thick and fast now, as we look to see who will be topping the times here in lobby 2 and how they compare with the times from lobby 1. However, with 6 teams from lobby 1 all getting a 1 minute 8.5 or lower. Definitely is going to be interesting to see how many of these teams are going to be able to match up with that, as Lars gets his second lap underway as we run down in towards turn number 1. DRS wide open as we go through the bank corner now, breaking down into turn number 2 and onto the exit. Oh, there's too much grass there for Lars and he loses the car. Heartbreak for Lars and not ideal for him as he tries to get out of the way as we got cars coming through on their laps now. I believe Nat might have backed out of that lap, but we also got Grego in behind as well. Actually, I think there might be potential that Nat was able to get away with that. Actually, no, a second down. Yeah, Nat definitely backed off in towards turn number 3. But we're still on board with Grego as he climbs up the hill through the fast left-hander. As we come through over a 10th up for Grego. Definitely going to be looking to find some more time in the final sector and get himself planted in the 1 minute 8.5s, maybe into the 0.4s. A little bit of a twitch on the curb there as we come through now in towards Tarzan. All about getting a good exit there. Another little twitch on the exit for Grego and Alien Motorsport to the line. A 1 minute 8.5, so he's there where he needs to be. What about Oscar? Can Oscar find the time? Oscar finds a bit of time in the final sector, but not enough to improve on his previous lap time there. So I believe Lars will be going again on this lap, as will Nat. We'll stay on board with Nat. Nat's a little bit further ahead on the lap right now, so we'll stick on board. In fact, Alberto, yeah, he's 4 seconds down, is Alberto. So yeah, Nat will be the next competitive lap time to come through. And we're going to see half a tenth up in sector 2. Not quite enough to get into the 1 minute 8, but the final corner is where you can find some time here. And that backs out of it, but Lars though, yeah, Lars into the pits. What is Ethan going to do? Ethan to the line, marching up in sector 2. Improves by nearly 2/10, but stays bottom of the times for now. Ethan, he's got himself into the 9.1s, but needs to find a bit more time here. As it currently stands to my math, I believe we have 9 teams right now who are either hitting a 1 minute 8.5 or lower. So I think the benchmark that I set up for 1 minute 8 being the times you need, I think that's pretty much spot on at this stage in qualifying. As Alberto did improve by over a tenth and goes on to a 1 minute 9, absolutely flat. Like, you can't get no flatter for 1 minute 9 than what Alberto has done there. And that is an improved lap time there from Alberto. He's going to be absolutely fuming though that he didn't break into the 1 minute 8s, but to get a perfectly flat 1 minute 9, still not bad from Alberto. Now we got Leo coming through to get his next lap underway here in lobby 2. Breaking down now in towards turn number 2, gets onto the grass on the exit, does not lose it, which of course we did see Lars do moments ago earlier in the session. Very easy to do though. Once you do touch the grass, it can be a little bit techy. As we got a 10th improvement in sector 1 from Leo, and that's a big slide under braking in towards turn number 5. Not ideal there as we go through 6 and now in towards 7 as we climb up the hill through turn number 8. Breaking down now through the bank of turn number 11, 12, and now into the final corner at Tarzan. What's it going to be for Leo as we come to the line? It's an improvement, but not in position. As we got Grego, who will be the next man. Actually, no, sorry, Nat will be the next one to cross the line. 2 tough improvement for Nat in the middle sector. What can Nat do here as Nat comes to the line? Looks like it's going to be into the 8s. It is, so Nat now into the 1 there, 8.9s there. Plus some there or thereabouts at the bottom end on the bubble, I'm going to say, of qualifying here as Oscar, a 1 minute 8.3 from him. What a lap time there from the driver representing Shazoo Cedars Igniters as he puts himself up into P1 with an improved lap time of a 1 minute 8.3. On board now with Ethan. Ethan definitely needs to find a lot of time on this lap if he wants to get himself up the order, and that is a little bit too much grass on the exit, and yeah, that's a 10.5 down as we come towards turn number 5. Around about 4.5 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. Oscar topping the times, Grego in second with Lars in third, Leo in 4th, Nat in 5th, Alberto in 6th, and then Ethan in 7th. In terms of lap times though, Ethan and Alberto definitely need to find some more time. Nat needs to improve by a bit as well as Leo if they want to try and get their teams into the top 10. Alberto marginally up in sector 1 as we didn't quite see what Ethan's sector 1 time was, unfortunately, but Alberto marginally up. Then we'll switch back on board with Ethan as we come for the middle sector split. But what can Alberto do for Deluxe? Again marginally up in the middle sector. What about Ethan? Ethan's over a 10th up in the first sector. Middle sector split nearly 2 tenths up. This is much better from Ethan now. If we can hold it through the final sector, we will switch back to see Alberto now coming through Tarzan. What can Alberto do? Coming to the line now. Alberto, is it going to be at the 1 minute 8? Yes, it is. Up in the P4 for Alberto. But what about Ethan? Ethan, what can he do? Up to the line is going to be 1 minute 9 flat for Ethan. Heartbreak there for Ethan. Unfortunately, not getting himself into the 1 minute 8s, and that's just putting himself under big pressure. As everyone's gearing themselves up for their final qualifying run here in lobby number 2. Grego going to be the first person to get us on the road for the final lap here in lobby 2. So we'll stay on board with Grego for this entire lap. In fact, we will give him the full screen as we come through turn number 2, hugging the inside there, not drifting out onto the grass as we've seen a fair few times in both sessions, and that might just cost him just a little bit as he is half a tenth down in sector 1, but can he find the time in sector 2? Climbing up the hill now through turn number 8. And now foot to the floor. He's marginally down right now, but he can find the time in the final sector and get a slightly improved lap time. Or even if he can find a 10th, that'd be a big improvement right here. We're going to see what Grego can do. Coming through Tarzan for the final time. Alien Motorsports. Grego to the line, and it's a 1 minute 8.2. What a lap time in the final sector. Grego able to find it. Oscar's at the back out. He's at the back out of his lap time. Not ideal for Oscar, but he might have enough time to go again. He definitely will have enough time to go again, actually. Looking at that. Oh, Alberto and Lance. Sorry, I mean Lance going into the wall. Alberto retiring in the pit lane. We got Nat M to the line now, about to get Nat Slap underway. Leora to the line. Unable to find the lap time there, and here comes Oscar to get his lap underway. So we've got Nat on a lap, and then we got Oscar in behind. Ethan is done for the session. There will be no improvement there from Ethan, no improvement from Lars. Alberto's done all that he can. Leoria has done all that he can. Grego has done what he can. It is now on Nat and Oscar. And we're going to stay on board with Nat for the middle sector, then jump up towards Oscar and see what he can do. As these are the last two drivers on a flying lap right now. Nat M. Middle sector split. About a 10th down. Oscar marginally up sector 1. What's he doing in sector 2 though? Oh, he's lost a lot of time in sector 2. A lot of time. But I think I don't see any improvements coming from Oscar here. But what about Nat? Nat to the line. Is there going to be any improvement there from Nat M? A marginal improvement. Does get himself up ahead of Leoa. So definitely an improvement there. But that brings an end to lobby number 2. So run you through it. For Alien Motorsport, Grego tops the time for 1 minute 8.2. And then of course for Shazoo Cedars Igniters, we got Oscar in second place. Lars representing Venturi Esports, they're in third with Deluxe Esports Teams, Alberto in fourth. Then of course we got Ground Effect Spec Racing's Nat M in fifth. And then of course we got Leora for Legacy Racing. And then, of course, Ethan representing Azuri Esports. They're going to be coming at the end of the times. Guys, again, we will be transferring now to lobby number 3. So we will be back in a moment's time. But now qualifying is beginning to shape up. And that is going to make things very interesting. We've seen a lot of times. I think the top 9 have kind of separated themselves. Like they got a bit of a 3/10 cushion, which is huge around a circuit like this. We got the remaining teams very close to each other in terms of getting that final spot. So that's just the way I'm seeing it right now. And we're all here for it. So guys, we will be back in just a moment's time. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and getting ready to go into lobby number 3, the third lobby of the evening. And of course, let's have a little look at the drivers, of course, that will be racing here in lobby number 3. Of course, for TF10, we have Wards in tonight for all elite racing team. We have Edwin Nasland in the AERT team. Bravo Racing Club is going to be represented by Polly Mackey. Evolution Racing Team, ERT, is represented by Jude Frederick. FRT going to be coming through with Bella Fox. Then, of course, XPG going to be coming through with Bushy Pancakes. Onibi esports represented by Legion, and of course ET8 going to be coming through with Oxcool as well in their lineup. And guys, we saw the lap times from the first 2 lobbies. It looks like a lot of the teams that hit the 1 minute 8.5s are sitting in a very good position right now, because they got a 3/10 gap going back, and I believe there's 9 teams that are in that kind of bracket where it's a 1 minute 8.5 or lower. So you would imagine, unless they have an absolutely horrible second lobby, it's going to be difficult for the remaining teams, the remaining 6 teams outside of all that, to get themselves going. And I believe there might have been a mistake in the lobby, as it looks like. Yeah, it looks like the lobby was just set to a race format instead of a qualifying format. It is what it is, guys. But don't worry, we didn't jump over to the lobby at that point, so no one got to see that. They just know that from me saying it. But yeah, guys, very interesting in terms of what we've got right now, because we got 6 teams that are pretty much all within a fighting chance of trying to get that 10th spot, because the 9 teams ahead are about 3/10 clear, and 3/10 around Zandvoort is a lot of lap time to find, and it's going to be difficult. But we're gonna see what happens. I mean, we've got 6 teams really like close together for that 10th spot, but you never know. There could be some teams that are, hitting the 1 minute 8.5s, and their second driver might come in that maybe does an 8.9, for example, and puts them under pressure. So we'll have to wait and see. And not entirely sure what is going on right now. I believe well, I'm just going for the Discord there. 2 seconds, guys. As I believe Flame has been given permission to run again, but I'm not sure if he's in the right lobby to run again. But he has jumped in, and I believe he will be going now. So yeah, I believe yeah, I believe Flame's going to come in and have another attempt. I believe he was having issues in the previous lobby. So as long as we're not seeing any like teamwork going on, I believe it should all be fine. It's all about setting the best times possible. And if he was having a technical issue in the first lobby, then it is fair enough for him to get another shot. So we're going to have 2 of the XPG drivers in lobby 3 looking to get their lap times going. Of course, XPG were one of the teams that was under some severe pressure, so it does kind of make sense if Flame was having technical issues, why he was quite considerably off the pace of where we would expect him to be. But this is it now. He's got to absolutely go for it. He can't hide behind technical issues now, and he has been given the go-ahead to run a second time as we transfer over to the lobby. Of course, Bushy and XPG Flame, of course, representing XPG here. And we're going to be seeing who's going to be coming out on top in terms of the lap times. And the first car out there is, of course, Jude Frederick. So we will go on board with Jude Frederick in just a moment's time, as Bushy Pancake has no front wing, no front downforce, but is driving like he's got a front wing, which is fantastic to see. As we're going to go on board with Jude for the flying lap. No front wing as well for Jude. It's a very interesting visual glitch that we have here. A very interesting one. As here we go now to begin the lap for Evolution Racing Team. We have Jude Frederick about to get this lap underway. Now what can Jude do? Running down in towards turn number 1. Throws it in 7th gear. Looks at the braking point now. Drops it down into 5th. Using a bit of the grass on the exit, but not all of the grass. Quite late on the brakes coming through turn number 3, compromising through turn 4. Big back end snap for Jude, and I think, yeah, that is the lap aborted almost immediately from Jude Frederick, as we got Polymarchy now. Polymarchy coming through 20.1 in the first sector for Bravo Racing Club. Polymarchy going to be looking to get himself up the order. Of course, Bravo, I believe, were one of the teams that did do the 1 minute 8.5s earlier on. And of course, they're going to be looking to try and match that and potentially improve on that as well, and see if they can really separate themselves from the rest of the pack. But let's find out, as Bravo now comes towards Tarzan for the first time here in qualifying. 15 minutes to go. Jude Frederick does set the first lap time, but it is not a competitive lap time, as it looks like we might have a bit of a glitch going on with Wards here, because Wards for me is graphically is in the pits. But apparently he's done a 1 minute 8.7. That's an interesting one right there. I've never seen that one before in any lobby, actually. That is a brand new one for me, as Flame is, let's call it, in the pits also, but I'm confused by this one, guys. I'm very confused by this one. It's taking me aback, this one has. Absolutely taken me aback. Jude Frederick, though, does improve on his lap time. Goes with a 1 minute 8.4. Fantastic lap time from the Evolution Racing Team driver, up into provisional P1 for himself in lobby 3. But big confusion right now, obviously, with Wards, and I can't even go on board with Wards anymore. So that is an interesting one. We're hoping that glitch does sort itself out. From what it appears, though, in the commentary box, like what it appears is that Wards is he's on a lap and he's turning the corners as if he was on a lap, but visually for us he's in the pit lane. A very strange one, but regardless, I do believe that that 1 minute 8.7 is a legit lap from him, but just visually we are dealing with a few issues right now. Of course, the front wings not being on the cars, being one, as you can see right there with Jude Frederick's car, but they definitely do have front wings. It's an interesting one, guys. It's a very interesting one. And there we go. We can actually go on board with Wards for the first time here in qualifying. And you know what? I'm actually going to give Wards a full lap when we come back on board with him in a moment's time. Of course, the lap times that have come in so far. Jude Frederick for Evolution Racing Team, topping the times 1 minute 8.4 ahead of Polly Markey for Bravo Racing Club on a 1 minute 8.5. Then we got TF10 Wards in third on a 1 minute 8.7. 1 minute 8.8 for All Elite Racing Teams. Edwin Naslord there in P4. Oxlu there for ET8 on a 1 minute 9.1. He's currently in 5th place. Then, of course, we've got Legion on a 1 minute 9.2. And, of course, he's representing Onibi Esports. And then, of course, we've got Bella Orthodox representing Future Racing Team in 7th on a 1 minute 9.6. And, of course, Bushy Pancakes for XPG on a 1 minute 9.9. And, of course, we've got Flame, who's also on a 1 minute, who's also representing XPG here as well. It's an interesting one, guys, because right now it's still set he's on our out lap, so we're not going to see the sector splits on our end, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to stay on. We'll stay on board with Wards, because the time should update if he improves on his lap time. So we'll stay on board with him, and we'll see what happens as he crosses the line. Very strange bug that we have uncovered here, but it's an interesting one, a very interesting one, as we come through now into the final sector with TF10 Wards. In my opinion, we could be seeing an improved lap time here. It definitely looks smooth, definitely looks quick, as Oxku there improves, goes up into P3 for ET8. Here comes Wards now to the line. He improves by 2 tenths, goes up into P3, back where he was originally, as we got Edwin there in P5. Legion into the pit lane. Flame down on his lap with an invalidation there, as we got Bushy Pancakes there. Seems to be struggling with the reverse layout. But it's a 10th down in Sector 1. I think Sector 1 is where we're seeing Bushy Pancakes really struggling here. And yet that is not what you want to do there. Bushy Pancakes getting onto the grass on entry. And Jude Frederick improves on the lap time, goes up even higher with a 1 minute 8.3 for Evolution Racing Team. And a fantastic lap time that is from Jude Frederick here. As Edwin there also on his way back into the pits, cutting some grass along the way. Flame in the first sector, a 20.4. 2 tenths better than his teammate right now. 44.8 middle sector for Flame. Let's see how he's going to end the lap here. He's running low on ERS and he's running low on fuel as well. But he is going to see out the lap. Flame, after being given a second chance here to the line. It's a 9.1. As it currently stands, I can say XPG are definitely on their way out, which is unfortunate for them, as they definitely need to find more time in qualifying, that is for sure. Polly Maki gonna get his third flying lap underway, and that is not ideal coming in towards turn number 1 and turn number 2. Cars in the way for Polly Maki there. But first sector split. He's only half a tenth down. I mean, that would have been very off-putting for me if I was out there driving on the track. It could be very off-putting having a car that close to the racing line, especially coming through turn number 1 there. Polymaki a 10th up in sector 2 though. This is looking good. This is looking good from Polymaki now, coming through towards Tarzan as Flame has left the session. Polymaki to the line. It's a 1 minute 8.4 for Polymaki there, and an improved lap time from him, absolutely. Again, we don't know what Wards is going to do in terms of lap time. He just says outlap for us, so we'll have to wait and see. We got Jude Frederick on a flying lap, so we're gonna give Jude the full screen, and we're gonna see if he's going to be improving on his lap time while I try and figure out what is what the issue was with Flame. As Jude Frederick comes into the pit lane, so not a lap time that he was happy with, unfortunately for him, but we'll go on board. Wards, I believe, has just finished his lap, so let's see what the improvement was. If there was, yes, there was an improvement there from Wards, a 1 minute 8.4 for him, and he's right in the mix now. As Oxcu for ET8 coming through to Tarzan to complete his flying lap here. He's a 10th up in the middle sector, but to the line he'll come. What's it going to be for the ET8 man? Up to P3, a 1 minute 8.4 for him as well. Big lap time there from Oxcu as he gets himself up into P3, 1 minute 8.4. And it's looking good for the top 4 teams right now in Lobby 1 and Lobby 3 times respectfully, comparison with what we've seen so far in Lobby 2. As everyone now is mentally preparing themselves, gearing themselves up for one final lap here in Lobby 3. We're going to see who's going to be coming out on top, of course. Right now, Jude Frederick has the best lap time of Lobby 3, but it's not the best lap time overall. Of course, the best lap time overall was a 1 minute 8.2 in Lobby 1. And Bushy Pancake is going to be the first car on a lap. And big improvements are needed from Bushy Pancake here. I mean, realistically, we need to be seeing at least a 1.5 seconds improvement from the XPG driver to get the XPG in the conversation to qualify here. That is, of course. So we're going to see what Bushy Pancake can do. Bushy Pancake now through turn number 3. What can Bushy Pancake do? First sector split. A 10th up, right? Now this is where Bushy Pancake needs to find and extract as much time as possible. Coming through the middle sector, there are some cars up the road, up ahead, that could be a little bit off-putting, but I think there's enough of a gap there for Bushy Pancake here. As we climb up the hill, the fast left-hander to the middle sector split. What's it going to be? 3/10 up. Needs to find more though, does Bushy Pancake. Final sector is where you're going to find the rest of your time. As Bushy Pancake to the line is going to be an improved lap time, but by how much? A 4/10 improvement, not enough in my opinion to get yourself through to the championship proper right there. So I think potentially it could be a bad night for XPG, as we got Legion now coming through the final corner through Tarzan, taking a little bit too much inside curve for my liking, but to the line will come Legion. Marginal improvement, but not enough. Bella Overrock's unable to get further up the order. What about Polly Maki now through the final corner? Jude is done. The checker flag has fallen. And there is an improvement there from Polly Maki. Oxcrew for ET8 coming through Tarzan now. Can the ETA driver top the timeshare to the line? No, he cannot. What about Wards? Wards is into the pits. As Edwin, not an improvement there, and that is the qualifying over and done with for lobby number 3. And we'll run you through the order once again. Of course, Jude Frederick for Evolution Racing Team tops the time for 1 minute 8.3, just ahead of Polly Maki for Bravo Racing Club in second place. Osklu for ETA Esports there in third place, with TF10 Wards for TF10 in fourth. Edwin Naslud in P5 for, of course, All Elite Racing Team. And then, of course, we've got XPG Flame for XPG Esports in sixth. Legion there for Onobi Esports in seventh. Bella Orthodox in eighth with, of course, Future Racing Team. And then, of course, XPG's Bushy Pancakes. They were a 1 minute 9.4 in ninth place. And I think that might be all she wrote for XPG Esports here tonight. The lap times were definitely not they're not enough, I don't think, to get through. Like, they're really not. But that is lobby 3 over and done with, as now we will try and transition as quickly as possible to lobby number 4. As you saw, the invite has come up, so I will be back in just a moment's time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final lobby here for qualifying for the console championship in CTC. Of course, we are here on League Racing TV. Of course, my name is, of course, Michael Edwards. As you would know, I'll be taking you through the action over the course of the entire qualifying night thus far. And we're here for the final qualifying lobby for lobby number 4. And of course, looking at the drivers we have here in this final session for Alien Motorsport, we have AMS Knight. For Legacy Racing, we have Typical. We have FRT Typical. For Deluxe Esports Team, we have DLX Antonio Jesus. Or Antonio Jesus. Potentially. For Ground Effect Spec Racing, we have SLR Medal. For Suzu Cedos Igniters, we have SCI Volokongan. For Azuri Esports, we have Taboo Dwarf. And of course, for Ventawi Esports, we have Grav Roach there. And guys, the qualifying is now underway. The last attempts for these drivers to get their teams into the console championship. We're going to be seeing how they all go there. And we have 7 drivers. We know the lap times now from lobby 1 and 3. We know the lap times on lobby 2. Now it's time to see what the lap times on lobby 4 are going to be, and if we'll see any changes in terms of lap times. I believe, Taboo Dwarf was having the same issue that that Wards did in the previous lobby, at least on my side of things anyway. So we'll have to just keep on board with the lap times that come through from Taboo Dwarf here. As I believe the first man going to be setting a lap is Grav Roach. So let's see what the VNT man can do as he comes through the final corner at Tarzan to get his lap underway. Let's give him the full screen. Let's give him the full benefit here. And in fact, let's actually get the lap delta and everything up first. That might be helpful. But that is Grav Roach out of the session. Wow. Now that's big. That is big. Grav Roach out of the session. Wow, wow, wow. That is huge right there, and that is a team I think that definitely had the makings of qualifying for the console championship. That is them potentially now in big jeopardy. As we are on board with Volokongan as he comes through the final corner at Tarzan. 15 minutes to go in the session. To the line will come Volokongan as he will go up into provisional pole with a 1 minute 8.6. Taboo Dwarf there with an 8.8. Typical with a 9.4. Medal to the line. A 9.4 also. Knight coming through Tarzan now as we're going to see what the Alien Motorsports driver can do. To the line he'll come, and it's an 8.8 for him as well. Antonio Jesus. Or Antonio Jesus. We will find out at some point, but to the line will come Antonio, and it'll be a 9.4. So very, very interesting. Big talking point though. Grav Roach on his first qualifying lap bins it on the exit of turn 2. as the drivers now all peel into the pit lane and get the second set of tyres on and will get themselves geared up to go again. I believe Volokonga might actually be going for another run, or potentially he's just doing a bit of a cider just to see where the grip is and where he can push it. Or maybe he's seeing just how much fuel he needs towards the end so he can go out of the pit lane. And if he does feel like he needs to back off and go for another lap, he knows exactly how much fuel he'll need for that. Tabu Dwarf, of course, we won't be seeing his lap times pop up on the Delta, but we will be able to see him out on track now, and we will be able to see if he does improve when he crosses the line. Of course, he's currently on a 1 minute 8.8. It's a decent banker for Tabu Dwarf, and he's going to be looking to find more time ahead. Right now, Volokongan tops the times for Shazoo, Cedars, Igniters. But can Tabu Dwarf put himself ahead of Volokongan here as he gets his second lap underway with just over 11 minutes to go in the session? The final qualifying lobby of the evening. Grav Roach unfortunately retiring, binning it, coming out of turn number 2. Offers a big opportunity for some of these teams now. Tabu Dwarf is looking very smooth thus far. But is it going to be enough to get him any higher on the grid? That is going to be the question. Coming through Tarzan now to the line will come Tabu Dwarf. Is it going to be an improved lap time? Yes it is, but not by much. Meanwhile, Knight is up by a tenth of a second in the first sector. Going to be looking to find more time. We're going to go on board with Typical. Typical coming towards the end of his lap. Volokongan just starting his flying lap, so we'll come back on board with him in a moment's time. But here comes Typical through Tarzan now. A 9.4 is Typical's lap time right now, but is he going to find more time now? To the line he'll come. 9.2. Knight to the line, nearly 3 times up. And it's an 8.4 for Alien Motorsports Knight as Volokongan is over a 10th up in Sector 1. Big improvement through Sector 1 for Volokongan as he comes through now. Sector 2 through turn number 6 now in towards turn number 7 on the ERS battery as he climbs up the hill through turn number 8. 2 tenths up is Volokongan. Now the final approach towards Tarzan. Volokongan 2 tenths up in the middle sector. Has he found any more in the final? To the line he'll come now. DRS wide open. Volokongan to the line. It's going to be an 8.4 and he does lose a bit of time in the final sector, but he still tops the times right now ahead of Knight. Antonio Jesus or Antonio Jesus through now. Going to be looking to improve on his lap time at 9.1 right now for the deluxe team. And of course, he's into the pit lane. Less than 8.5 minutes to go now in the session. Volokongan topping the timeshare in lobby number 4. Knight for Alien Motorsport there in second place. And there's a 4/10 gap back to Taboo Dwarf in third, who is a further 3/10 ahead of Antonio Jesus there in fourth. Of course, the engineers will be in the ears of the drivers out there on track, letting them know what the other teams have done in the previous lobbies and what they have to aim for to get themselves into the top 10. As Taboo is going to get his lap underway here through Tarzan, lines himself up for a big launch out the final corner. And now it's all about if he can hook up turn 1, 2, 3 and 4 together to carry that momentum now in the first sector. Very quick through turn number 2, but did slide a little bit, did Taboo. But let's have a little look here as he gets the back end out. And I just remembered I can't actually see the sector time splits for Taboo. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens at the end of the lap. And if Taboo can get himself up any higher as he comes through towards turn number 8 now. Up the hill, flat out, using that ERS. Now towards Tarzan, he's going to use a bit more ERS deployment, and now it's all about the launch out of Tarzan and the run down towards the start finish line. What's it going to be for Taboo? He does improve. It's a 1 minute 8.7 in the end, about a 10th and a bit improvement. Antonio up by over a 10th in sector 1, needs to carry it now through sector 2, as we got Knight in the background as well, chasing down the DLX driver. 10th and a half up is Antonio now, coming through in towards the banked right-hander of the final sector, losing the back end, and that is his lap over and gone with. Medal did improve on his lap time, he's now on an 8.9. Typical is on the lap also, so we'll cut back to him in just a moment's time. Knight coming through Tarzan now. Knight to the line, improves, gets himself up to the top. Typical to the line, marginally up in the middle sector, backs off at the end. Volokongan though, over a 10th up in the middle sector as he comes through Tarzan right now, and if he finds the time that he lost on the previous lap through there, this could be threatening an 8.1 here, as Volokongan does an 8.2, puts himself 2/10 ahead of Knight. What a lap from Volokongan. As we got 3.5 minutes remaining now in qualifying. Antonio is out there on an out lap, looking to get a big lap time here to get into the 1 minute 8 and try to get Deluxe into the console championship. Can Deluxe esports team get themselves into the top 10 of the times all together this evening? We are going to find out. Ventari esports, of course, with Grav Roach crashing out at the start of the session. No lap time on the board for them, and that puts them completely in the back now. Let's see what Antonio can do for Deluxe as he gets his lap underway. He's left himself enough time that if he does have a bad run, he can save the battery and go again. As we approach now turn number 3. Through turn number 4 now. First sector split. Marginally up in the first sector. All about the middle sector split now. Antonio now coming up through the fast, flat out left-hander up the hill, over a 10th up. It's looking like it's going to be a 1 minute 9, absolutely spot on here as we come through towards the final sector now, up towards Tarzan. What will Antonio do for Deluxe esports team here as we come through Tarzan on the exit? ERS deployed, DRS activated, to the line will come Antonio, and it's going to be a 8.9. Good lap time there from Antonio, and potentially enough time for Antonio to go around and potentially get another lap in out of this. But here comes Typical now to get his lap underway. FRT Typical through turns 2, smooth as you like, into the break-in for turn number 3. And through turn number 4, first sector split. He's up by over a 10th and a half. This is more like it from Typical here now through turn number 5. In towards turn number 6. Now through turn number 7 on the ERS deployment. Climbing up the hill now through turn number 8 on the ERS once again. Middle sector split, 3 attempts up. Typical is doing absolutely everything he needs to do as the checker flag is about to fall here. Antonio is done with his lap, he's done with his session. He's happy with an 8.9. Will it be enough to get Deluxe esports into the top 10, I wonder? Here comes Typical now to the line. He'll cross it and does a 1 minute 8.8. As Medal to the line. Medal improves, goes ahead of Antonio. And now we're waiting for lap times to come in from Taboo, then Volokongan, and then Knight. We got Taboo coming in first. As we look to see if Taboo's going to find any more time. He's on 1 minute 8.7 right now. Taboo can find a little bit more. It will help their team massively. Taboo to the line. Is it going to be an improvement? Yes, it is. It goes to a 0.4. Volokongan into the pit lane. He's happy with his lap time. Knight now through the final corner at Tarzan on the ERS. Now activating DRS to the line. He'll come. And it doesn't look like it was an improvement there from Knight, unfortunately. So he stays P3 for Lobby 4. But I believe AMS have done more than enough to get themselves into the top 10. But let's run you through the order once again. It is Volokongan for Suzu Cedars Igniters, topping the timeshare in Lobby 4 with Taboo Dwarf for Azuri Esports in second place. Then we got Alien Motorsports Night in P3 with Legacy Racing's Typical in P4. Then, of course, we've got Ground Effect Spec Racing's Medal in P5 with Antonio Jesus for Deluxe Esports Team in 6th. And then, of course, Ventauri Esports' Grav Roach unable to get a lap time on the board after crashing out in the first flying lap on the exit of turn number 2. Heartbreak for them, of course. Guys, that brings an end to qualifying here tonight. And we eagerly look forward to seeing who will be the 10 teams in terms of topping the times. Of course, again, we're going to go through our sponsors and partners here at CTC, as we're going to bring all that up now in just a moment. Yes, to our sponsors at Pivot Media, the marketing agency offering graphic and video designers to elevate your brand and business. Make sure you check out their X in the description of this stream. And of course, to our other sponsors, including Virtual Setup Engineer, the brand new setup shop for all of your setup needs, where they offer setups for all tracks plus a custom chat box, so you can customize the setup to your driving style. And with that, guys, a quick look to what we can expect in the coming weeks. Of course, the console championship, the 16th of August, round number 1. We head to Australia for what is the first leg in the Asia Pacific Championship, leg of the CTC Console Championship. And of course, then we'll head to Bahrain and then Japan after. The rest of the calendar will be announced at a later point. But of course, the first 3 races I am very excited for. And of course, a quick reminder of the point system here in CTC. A race win will get you 22 points, 18 points for second, 15 for third, 12 for fourth, 11 points for fifth, and it'll go down in increments of 1 all the way to 15th place, where you're going to get a singular point for grabs. I'm just quickly having a little gander to see if we do have the top 10 confirmed. If not, guys, make sure you keep an eye out on the socials and it will be announced on there. Right, actually, I believe we may have the times that have come in. And when I say it was incredibly close between several teams, it was incredibly close between several teams here. So right now, as it stands, Shazoo Cedar Igniters, ET8, Alien Motorsport, Evolution Racing Team, TF10, Bravo Racing Club, they are all through, and joining them, All Elite Racing Team, Azuri Racing, Future Racing Team, and Legacy Racing as it currently stands. So is very close. We will be seeing if anything does change regarding all that. But yeah, guys, very close. When I say the gap between 10th and 11th was less than 200ths of a second. It was less than 200 of a second. Not even between 10th and 11th, but between 10th and 12th, it was less than 200th of a second. But that is how things are going to end. Of course, guys, that is going to be wrapping it up for the qualifying here tonight. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in, and we will catch you for round number 1 in Australia next week. Guys, I have been Michael Edwards, and we'll see you next week for round number 1. Until then, guys, it's good night for me. Good night.